organized by Continuing Professional Education Committee of ICAI and hosted by Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICAI. I welcome you all, and before we start with the inaugural session, I request CA Sachin Bansal ji, Chairman of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, along with his committee, to escort our chief guest for today, Santosh Kumar, Shri Santosh Kumar, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, Pune, to escort them on the dais for lighting of the lamp. I even recognize the presence of our speaker, CA Ashwani Taneja and CA I now request CA Sachin Bansal, Chairman, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, CA Sarika Chodia, Secretary, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, CA Sailesh Bore, Treasurer, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, CA Vaibhav Modi, Vikasa Chairperson, CA Sachin Dhedange, to escort our chief guest for today, Dr. Shri Santosh Kumar, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax 1, Pune, along with our speakers Ashwani Taneja and Amit Khemkaji on the dais. Photo song. Shri Santosh Kumar, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax 1 Pune, by offering memento and floral bouquet. Round of applause for our very own chief guest.
Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, Dr. Shri Santosh Kumar ji, my colleagues in the Management Committee of Pimpri-Chinchwad Branch, CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman, CA Sarika Chordia, Secretary, CA Shailesh Bore, Treasurer, CA Sachin Jarange, MCM, CA Vaibhav Modi, Vikasa Chairman, dignitaries on and off the dais, respected speakers Aneja ji and Khemka ji, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the National Conference 2023, Nyan Trishna, the Thirst for Knowledge, organized by the CP Committee of ICAI and hosted by the Pimpri-Chinchwad Branch. It is truly an honor to stand before you as the Chairman of the Pimpri-Chinchwad Branch and deliver this welcome address for this esteemed event. Our conference this year promises to be a platform for intellectual exchange, networking and learning, bringing together some of the brightest minds in the field of direct and indirect taxes. We have gathered here not only to share our insights and experiences, but also to chart the course for the future of our profession. Over the next 2 days, we have an impressive lineup of speakers and sessions that will delve into the latest trends, challenges and opportunities in the world of chartered accountancy. We are fortunate to have distinguished experts who will share their knowledge and expertise, and I encourage each one of you to actively participate, engage in discussions and take full advantage of this incredible opportunity. Our theme this year, Nyan Trishna, the thirst for knowledge, underscores the need for gaining knowledge and the need for keeping ourselves updated. As chartered accountants, we are at the forefront of financial governance, and it is our responsibility to stay ahead of the curve, embrace technology and drive positive change in the ecosystem in which we live. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to our sponsors, management committee members, branch staff, UN managers, and the organizing committee for their hard work and dedication in making this conference possible. Let us make the most of this conference, forging new connections, expanding our knowledge, and setting the course for a brighter future for the CA profession. In the end, I would like to end with a Sanskrit quote, Yat bhavo tat bhavati. You become what you believe. So believe in yourself, and I wish all the successful and enriching conference happy learning. Thank you.
Study and will lead you to a greater height of success. So the theme Nyan Trishna for this year is like very great. Okay, so now I invite our very own chief guest, Dr. Shri Santosh Kumar, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax 1 Pune, for the speech. But before that, let me just give you a brief intro about our chief guest. Santosh Kumar ji, Dr. Shri Santosh Kumar ji, he is the Principal Commissioner of Income Tax 1 Pune. He has done his BTech Mechanical Engineering, along with that LLB, LLM. He has 2 PhD in Jainism and in law. He is police DSP, and then he quit to become IRS in 1991. He is even served in Income Tax Chennai, Maharashtra, Nagpur, Mumbai, Pune, Bhopal. Our very own chief guest is even an author of the book named Intensity of Soul Towards the Goal. He has delivered up till 200 lectures up till now, his main subject being religion. He has even had a detailed study of analysis Hamas and on Israel war. So a huge round of applause for our chief guest, Dr. Sri Santosh Kumarji. I request you to come forward for the speech.
Everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Bansalji. In fact, I would tell you one thing, that I am the accidental chief guest here. Mr. Bansal, he had gone to the principal chief commissioner, and perhaps he was busy somewhere, so I was directed by the principal chief commissioner to represent the department in this galaxy. That's why I am coming here. I have come here and I have to deliver certain things. Day before yesterday, Mr. Bansal told me that you have to come at 10 o'clock, and yesterday he said that you have to come at 9 o'clock. In fact, it is very difficult for me to come to attend any function at 9 o'clock, because I have certain yoga and some exercise I do every day. Gyan Krishna, the word Gyan Krishna जो आपने इसमें रखा हुआ है, ये संस्कृत का शब्द है, इसलिए मैं थोड़ा सा आपको इसको बताना चाहूँगा। या तो संस्कृत में बताऊँ, या संस्कृत की बेटी जो हिंदी है उसमें बताऊँ, या मराठी में बताऊँ। मराठी आई कैन नॉट स्पीक मराठी, आई डू नॉट नो अबाउट मराठी। संस्कृत में अगर बताऊँगा तो संस्कृत में आप लोगों को थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम जाएगा, लेकिन मैं हिंदी में आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि ज्ञान तृष्णा जो शब्द है, वो मैंने ज्ञान सबसे पहले सुना था ज्ञान योग। जब मैं भगवत गीता पढ़ा करता था तो उसमें पहला भगवत गीता एक्चुअली 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है। उसमें सबसे पहला जो योग है वो ज्ञान योग है, और दूसरा है कर्म योग, और तीसरा है भक्ति योग। तो एक तो ज्ञान मैंने वहां सुना था, ज्ञान योग, जब कृष्ण बोलते हैं कि किस तरीके का ज्ञान, अर्जुन को बोलते हैं कि ज्ञान योग सर्वश्रेष्ठ है सभी योगों में से। और फिर जब कृष्ण के ज्ञान योग समझ में नहीं आती तब वो कर्म योग की बात करते हैं, और धीरे धीरे कर्म योग से निष्काम कर्म योग तक चले जाते हैं। तो मैं उस पर ज्यादा न जाके मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूंगा कि ज्ञान योग में आप अध्ययन करते हैं आत्मा का, परमात्मा का और जीव का। उसी तरीके से शायद वत्सल जी ने ये शब्द चुना होगा, ये भी हिंदी के या संस्कृत के विद्वान रहे होंगे, जिसने भी संस्कृत शब्द दिया होगा कि ज्ञान योग में सीएस के लिए क्या है, क्या वो आत्मा के बारे में अध्ययन करें, परमात्मा के बारे में अध्ययन करें, या फिर जीव के बारे में अध्ययन करें, संसार के बारे में अध्ययन करें। फॉर द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, आई थिंक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो शब्द है CA, जो प्रैक्टिसिंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को मैं देखता हूँ पिछले करीब 30 सालों से, तो उनका एक्चुअली डेजिग्नेशन होना चाहिए CA+A, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट एंड एडवोकेट। क्योंकि एवरी डे जो प्रैक्टिसिंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, दे इंटरप्रेट द लॉ, और इंटरप्रिटेशन जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का है, मैं कह सकता हूँ उसको क्योंकि मैंने LLB भी किया जैसा कि मैंने बताया, और LLM भी किया। तो इंटरप्रिटेशन जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट करते हैं, अच्छे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन द इनकम टैक्स अपीलेट ट्रिब्यूनल ले लीजिए, या इन डे टू डे उसमें, उनसे अच्छा इंटरप्रिटेशन इनकम टैक्स का चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट से अच्छा इंटरप्रिटेशन कोई नहीं कर पाता। इवन एडवोकेट कैन नॉट डू दैट। और अभी आपने सुना होगा केरल हाई कोर्ट ने एक डिसीजन दिया था थोड़े दिन पहले कि इनकम टैक्स एक्ट इज द कॉम्प्लिकेटेड एक्ट, इट इज द मोस्ट कॉम्प्लिकेटेड एक्ट इन एंटायर वर्ल्ड, नॉट ओनली इन इंडिया। इसका जो फेयर एक्ट है वही आपको लगेगा कि ये जो है ना उसका वो है कॉम्प्लिक बनाया है, उसको एक्सप्लेन करके किया गया। फेयर एक्ट ही इतना मोटा है। तो केरल हाई कोर्ट जो चीफ जस्टिस थे उन्होंने कहा कि CPGT को कुछ ऐसे क्लासेस करने चाहिए इवन फॉर द जजेस, कि कैसे अंडरस्टैंड करें उसको। एक चैप्टर है, उसके अंदर सेक्शंस हैं, उसके अंदर सब सेक्शंस हैं, उसके अंदर आपका एक्सप्लेनेशंस है, क्लॉजेस है। इतना बड़े एक्ट को आप लोग वो करते हैं। और दूसरी चीज जो आपका मेन डोमेन एरिया है, डोमेन एरिया आपका क्या है, अकाउंटेंसी है। तो उसके अलावा आप अकाउंटेंसी के अलावा जो है लीगल चीजों को जो इंटरप्रेट करते हैं, तो आपका एक्चुअली डेजिग्नेशन होना चाहिए CA+A। बंसल जी ने मुझे एक सब्जेक्ट दिया था कि जो डे टू डे बेसिस पे जो प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा आप लोगों से बात करें। और आई एम फेसिंग दोज प्रॉब्लम्स, आई एम नॉट फेसिंग, एक्चुअली असेसीज आर फेसिंग दोज प्रॉब्लम्स एंड आई एम सीइंग दोज प्रॉब्लम्स फ्रॉम लास्ट 1 ईयर। यहाँ पर पुणे चार्ज में सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम्स है द डिमांड, ह्यूज डिमांड रेज्ड ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ फेसलेस एरा। एंड उसका एक रीजन ये है, उसको थोड़ा हम लोग कम कर सकते हैं दोनों लोग मिलकर, क्योंकि वी आर द सेम फ्रॉम द सेम डिपार्टमेंट, द टैक्स पेयर्स आर नॉट देयर, तो हमारा आपका वजूद भी नहीं होता। यहाँ पर सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जो है टैक्स पेयर्स की मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जिस आदमी ने 10 लाख की रिटर्न डाली है उसके ऊपर 10 करोड़ की डिमांड करी हुई है। और वो लोग आते हैं, उनका पूरे असेट बेच दीजिए तो भी वो डिमांड नहीं कर सकते। इसका जानते हैं मेन रीजन क्या है कि नोटिस आर बीइंग इशूड बाय द डिपार्टमेंट एंड दे आर नॉट बीइंग सर्व्ड अपॉन द सीसी बिकॉज ऑफ इनकरेक्ट ईमेल और email given of the ITPs, and they have changed those ITPs and they are not informing the assessee that this notice has come. So एक प्रॉब्लम हम लोग आप लोगों को बताना चाहेंगे, जो भी प्रैक्टिसिंग यहाँ पे चार्टर्ड अकाउंट है उनसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहेंगे कि आप लोग जब भी रिटर्न भरिए एसएससीज का, अब चूंकि ये समय आ गया है, ये कोई अब तो फिजिकल तो कोई नोटिस सर्विस होना नहीं है और अब पूरा फेसलेस का एरा आ गया है। इसमें आप लोग अपना कम से कम 2 चीज़ें कर दीजिए जो टैक्स पेयर के साथ आपकी सर्विसेज होनी, एंड यू विल बी रेंडरिंग ए वेरी गुड सर्विस टू द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इफ यू गिव 2 ईमेल्स। एक आपका ईमेल होना चाहिए, एक असेसी का भी ईमेल अगर रुखसर नहीं है तो आप क्रिएट करिए, और कम से कम 2 उनके जो है ना मोबाइल नंबर आप दीजिए। नोटिस आर नॉट सर्व्ड अपॉन द असेसी, और असेसिंग ऑफिसर 3-4 नोटिस सर्विस करने के बाद कुछ भी एडिशन कर देता है, ह्यूज एडिशन आपका क्रेडिटर, सन्ड्री क्रेडिटर सभी मिला जितना बैलेंस शीट में जो आपका लायबिलिटी साइड है पूरा एडिशन कर देगा, जिसकी वजह से बहुत प्रॉब्लम डिपार्टमेंट में आ रही है, एंड यू मे बी आल्सो फेसिंग दोस प्रॉब्लम्स इन डे टू डे लाइफ। सो मेरा यही कहना है कि आप इतना थोड़ा सा अगर सुधार कर लें तो हमारा काफ़ी सर्विसेज हो जाएगी टुवर्ड्स द टैक्स पेयर्स। थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड थैंक यू फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी हियर।
आपके लिए कुछ पंक्तियाँ। आपके आने से बाहर आ गई, खुशियाँ जैसे हमारे द्वार आ गई। वेलकम करते हैं आपका हमारे कॉन्फ्रेंस में, आप आए तो जैसे रौनक आ गई। थैंक्स अ लॉट। I now request CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman of Pimpri Chinchwad branch, to propose the vote of thanks.
You all, it's my pleasure to give the vote of thanks for this inaugural session. I'm really thank you to today's our chief guest, Dr. श्री संतोष कुमार जी, प्रिंसिपल कमिश्नर। मुझे लगता है कि सर ने जो स्टार्ट में बताया कि भाई मैं 9 बजे कहीं नहीं जाता हूँ, मैं 10 बजे पहुँचता हूँ, क्योंकि 1 घंटा जो है वो मुझे योगा और एक्सरसाइज के लिए जरूरी है। और मुझे लगता है ये बहुत बड़ा संदेश उन्होंने हमको दिया है कि हेल्थ इज वेल्थ। मुझे लगता है ज्ञान तो हमें हर जगह पे डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली मिल रहा है, लेकिन सर ने जो ये बोला है कि भाई सवेरे का 1 घंटा हमें हमारे लिए देना है, तो सर ये रियली मुझे लगता है कि टेक अवे फ्रॉम दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस कि 1 घंटा हमें भी हम हमारे हेल्थ के लिए देना है। सर ने जो बताया हमें कि भाई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज आल्सो एडवोकेट, तो रियली सर आपने जो हमें अप्रिसिएशन दिया है, रियली थैंक यू फॉर दिस। और वक्त निकाल के आप यहाँ पे आए, तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद, थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट आवर conference immediately. So thank you to all and happy learning. Thank you.
One day your signature will be called an audited financial statement. So सब CAs के लिए ये line कहीं पढ़ी थी मैंने. So a very proud feeling for all the CAs. Okay, so we are starting with our first technical session.
Hello.
For the first technical session,
Hello.
I request CA Sachin Bansal, Chairman, Pimpri Chinchwad branch, CA Sarika Chodia, Secretary, Pimpri Chinchwad branch, to escort our speaker for the first technical session, CA Advocate Ashwani Taneja, ex-member, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, founder partner, Prudent Law Chambers, and Advocate Amit Khemka, partner, Prudent Law Chambers. I now request CA Sachin Bansal, Chairman, Pimpri Chinchwad branch, to welcome Ashwani Taneja, ex-member, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, founder partner, Prudent Law Chambers, by offering memento and floral bouquet. May we have a huge round of applause for CA Advocate Ashwani Taneja. I now request CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman, Pimpri Chinchwad branch, to welcome Advocate Amit Khemka, partner, Prudent Law Chambers, by offering memento and floral bouquet. CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman, Pimpri Chinchwad Branch, to welcome Amit Khemka, Advocate Amit Khemka, by offering memento and floral bouquet.
Mr. Ashwini Taneja is currently practicing as lawyer and handling all facets of economic, corporate and tax laws, rendering his advisory and representation services at various judicial forums all across the country. He is a former member of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, a lawyer, chartered accountant, company secretary, cost and management accountant, and also holds degree of BCom Honours, LLB and LLM, and Diploma in DISA from ICAI. He practiced as chartered accountant from 1995 to 2006. In 2006, he switched over and practiced as lawyer till 2015. In year 2015, he was appointed as member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, where he authored more than 2,000 judgments dealing with issues of domestic as well as international tax till 2017. Thereafter, he resumed his practice as a lawyer. He is a prolific speaker on various tax issues pertaining to economic offences, income tax, and corporate law, and has delivered lectures and talks at various forums across the country. He was invited by Chief Justice of Tax Court of Canada for membership of IITG, and he became member of IITG in year 2017 and participated in Global Tax Conference held in Helsinki. He was also invited to speak at 11th St. Petersburg International Legal Forum on legal issues arising in bilateral trade between India and Russia by Rose Congress. He is now back in the legal profession and is a name to reckon with in anti-money laundering law, PMLA, Benami law, Black Money Act, FEMA, and litigation in other economic offences besides income tax law matters. He is a founder partner of Prudent Law Chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ashwini Taneja.
A huge round of applause to Mr. Ashwini Taneja. I now request CA Advocate Ashwini Taneja to start with this technical session.
Madam, everybody, all the officers, ladies and gentlemen, my that is what I was saying, but it is not on. It is on. Am I audible now? Yes. Okay. So, my dear professional brothers and sisters, thank you very much for sparing out your valuable time in the fresh morning. हम जीवन में जो स्थान ग्रहण करते हैं वो इस बात पे भी निर्भर करता है कि हम सभा में क्या स्थान ग्रहण कर रहे हैं। आई मीन इट। तो इसलिए अगर कुछ यहां से टेक अवे चाहिए जो आने वाले स्पीकर्स आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं, तो स्पीकर से कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो उसके लिए आपको यहां होना पड़ेगा। नॉट ओनली योर बॉडी शुड बी हियर, योर माइंड एंड सोल शुड बी हियर। सोल विल बी हियर, एवरीथिंग विल बी हियर। और एक और एडिशनल चीज करनी पड़ेगी कि कनेक्ट करने के लिए जितना उपयुक्त स्थान चुन लेंगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा। एक रिजल्ट जो साफ साफ सामने आता है कि इन लॉज के माध्यम से सिर्फ हम अपनी इकोनॉमिक लाइफ को ही नहीं समझ पा रहे, हम ये समझेंगे कि जीवन को कैसे जीना है। और जब हम बेनामी लॉ पढ़ेंगे तो एक बात समझ में आ जाएगी कि चाहे कुछ भी हो, जिंदगी को बेनामी नहीं बनाने का। देखिए, मतलब लॉ पढ़ते पढ़ते ही समझ में आ जाएगी ये बात। और जो केसेस आपके सामने आएंगे उनको पढ़ के तो बिल्कुल अच्छे सब समझ में आ जाएगा कि जिंदगी को बेनामी नहीं बनाने का। जीवन में कुछ भी हो जाए, प्रोग्रेस हो, कितनी हो, जितनी हो उतनी काफी है। पर बिना भी नहीं जीने का, जीना रियल है। वेलकम वंस अगेन। If you would have noticed in last couple of years, you would have found that the emphasis of our government has been to streamline the economy and to stop all leakages which are happening, any possible dent which is happening in any manner. Immediately soon after resuming power, the actions were taken. And it was also noted that tax laws in themselves are not sufficient to tackle the problems, the issues, the complexities, the leakages, etc. And therefore, laws around it were brought in. A complete castling was done, as is evident from introduction of Black Money Act in 2015 and complete overhauling of Benami law in 2016 and requisite amendments under PMLA and FEMA, etc., etc. And also streamlining various other streamlining the laws through various other mechanisms, revamping the entire mechanism of litigation, particularly tax litigation, bringing in faceless mechanism, etc., etc. So the whole effort is quite evident. That is only one part. The other part which we look upon is that it is not enough for all of us to pick up only one subject and be aware about it. That will not help us, enable us to make holistic compliance of the law, holistic understanding of the law first of all. And in absence of holistic understanding of the law, it was very, very difficult, it will be very, very difficult to guide our clients to make holistic compliance. And that is how, when I resigned from my role in the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal in 2017, I came back into profession. I found there was a huge vacuum. Vacuum in the sense of availability of requisite professional skill to cater to the needs of the new environment. To the business class, to HNIs, to large organizations, to medium-sized organizations, to NGOs, etc., etc. And that is how I discussed with my esteemed senior partner, Amit Khemka ji. And I requested that, sir, you are focusing on criminal law. But here I have seen that criminal lawyers in themselves are not alone, competent enough, with due respect, to tackle these economic offences problems which are coming up, because of the involvement of financial nitty-gritties and complexities. And as a chartered accountant purely, or as a tax professional purely, we cannot handle criminal law. So let us try to create an environment where this holistic understanding can be had. And that is the mission which we took up. And Khemka ji is also specializing in laws dealing with economic offences. It's criminal side basically, it's trial side, it's prosecution side, investigation side, summoning side, etc., etc. And I have been focusing on the financial complexities and the corporate law complexities side of all these laws, so that they could be understood in the true sense what the laws are expecting from the citizens of this country. That is what is essential to understand. Only then we can fix up our role. So day in, day out for last 5 years, Khemka ji and us, we are doing only this laws dealing with economic offences and all facets of it, whether it is attachment facet, financial facet, or it's civil, or it's criminal side. And that is why, on the basis of whatever little experience we have, we will be sharing with you our thoughts, our experiences, how the things are happening. Are these 3-4 things well aligned, or there is a disconnect? 4 things means, first of all, the wish of the parliament, the law, the way law has been drafted, the approach of the enforcement agencies,
the approach of the judiciary, the approach of the professionals and their understanding, and last but not the least, the expectations, the obligations, the responsibilities, the duties and rights of the citizens of this country with respect to these laws. Because in one line, if you ask me, I'll explain, the expectation is that the government should understand the way system is working, the way business should be done. It can be done in this way only. How are they expecting us to leave everything else behind now and suddenly make a total changeover? No cash dealings at all, etc., etc. There are 10 more things. That is the expectation of the citizen. Expectation of the government, in last 60 years, we have not changed. And we are still continuing the same method of running a parallel economy. When will you change? Come on. We have brought in the law. Law will take its own course. Come what may. You know which is evident from this fact? One line only I will tell you and you will be convinced with that what I am saying. In Benami law, I have to keep it touching, right? इसका स्क्रीन सेवर ऑफ कर दो ना तो in Benami law, if a property has been, a transaction has been done Benami, it will, the consequences will follow of with respect to Benami, doing a Benami transaction under Benami law. Severe consequences, whatever they are, attachment of property, imposition of fine, imprisonment of Benamidar, beneficial owner, and anybody who is abetting them in the crime. Even if the Benami transaction has been done unknowingly, without any mala fide intention, the consequences are bound to happen. They are in autopilot mode. The law has been made in autopilot mode. Okay, it will happen like this. Spontaneity has been brought in. Prosecution may be, seasoned lawyers like Khemka can save from prosecution under such circumstances, but other consequences are bound to happen. It shows what? Only one thing, the government is determined now. Dehorse our customary practices of last more than 400-500 years. Dehorse that. Whatever your social customary practices may be, no. It is an effort to bring out a unified law kind of system. Okay. For everybody, law is same, whatever your practices may have been. Therefore, my dear friends, it is really understand to first of all have the informative knowledge of all the laws which are floating together and the spirit behind them, so that we are able to properly understand and then guide accordingly. We cannot take them lightly. Maybe the effect here in Pune is not as much as in other parts of the country, though I am given to understand the BPU and the other investigation agencies are working quite well here also. Wherever industrialization, commercialization will take place, these laws will come into motion, and so will come the investigation and enforcement agencies. But having said that, in place like Pune also, the days are not far. And the best management principle which I have been told is, it is only difference is a thing which is to be done, it matters when it is done. After all, this is the best principle of the management. If a thing is to be done, it matters when it is done. Ultimately, that is what the whole difference in management is. When it is required to be done now, if it is done now, it is best management. If it will be done later, it is no management. And similarly, technologically, if technology has come, something can be done in a better way. So, and if it is not being done in that better way, so technological backwardness happens. And I have been facing it personally also. So that is why I can share with the basis of my experience also. Antivirus will started running suddenly. So, keeping that in mind, let us begin our journey. But sitting with Santoshi, I don't know if Santoshi is here or he is left. So we were just discussing, he was saying that he has good taste in analyzing the reason and the thoughts behind it, etc., etc. So one thing came up in my mind, I would put before you, and while they were my deliberations, you can ponder over, and maybe somewhere near around the session, you can give my thoughts to it, your thoughts to me. Is there anything common between law and spirituality? Just think over. And maybe by the time we are moving towards the end, maybe your thoughts become crystal clear and in a manner that you are able to share it openly with all of us. So today, let us understand the impact, as I discussed with you, of these laws. Not only on the economy, but every individual's life. So, somebody did this research. There are so many thousands of ways a businessman can be put into jail. CBI, ED action may now follow IT default probe. What does it mean? That at the higher level also preparations have been done, that coordinated action have to be done, shall be taken. So when the law is also like that, which we will discuss whether the law has intercorrelation or not, or they are working standalone basis. And if yes, then the law will be also interwoven and the agencies will also work together. Then you can imagine, can we understand, enforce, implement, comply the laws on standalone basis? Technology use is happening. Multi-agency scrutiny using higher order data analytics. These are the old news you must have come across now. This MOU I wanted to discuss with you. Now memorandum for MOUs and MOUs are being entered between the agencies, investigation agencies, and notifications are being issued by the government to exchange the data. Latest one is 22nd November 2022, and after that one GST notification has also come. I don't know whether I have put there on the slide or not. Let me check in the next slide. Now these agencies have been put on the list of responsible agencies who are duty bound to give information to the Enforcement Directorate about what? About any transaction coming to their notice in which there is a possibility of involvement of money laundering. Now can you see whom they have made responsible or liable for this sharing this information? Whom else? I mean, the list already exists. Now this list has been updated. NIA, SFIO office, Serious Fraud Investigation Office, police departments, regulators, DGFT, MEA, Competition Commission, National Intelligence Grid, Central Vigilance Commission, Defense Intelligence, National Technical Research, Military Intelligence, etc., etc. Meaning thereby, there is going to be widespread collection and feeding of information. Therefore, it is not possible to make casual way of living or casual way of doing business in the country now. Take it or leave it is the open slogan of the government. Take it means continue to live here. If you like, if you don't like it, you leave the country. But the country has to run like this, where laws have to be strictly complied. You know, not only that, there are multiple laws. Each law has a widest possible canvas, coverage, scope. Mainly PMLA now. That you cannot even imagine that, okay, these kind of transactions or things can also be covered in it. For example, these chimpanzees were attached by the Enforcement Directorate. So, I mean, I also got amused the way you are feeling, yeah, what is this? I mean, how is? But I analyze it, okay, how it has been legally done. that chimpanzees became the subject matter of jurisdiction of ED in a manner that Section 5 could have been invoked and they could have been attached. So the things explained legally were something like this in the order, that this person who was having these chimpanzees, he did some forgery to get the certificates of custody and all that. So forgery was done, which is a scheduled offence under IPC, and therefore it gets covered under PMLA. What is scheduled offence, etc. We will discuss in detail. Pinkaji will also explain it today. Then he also made violation of Wildlife Protection Act. That is also another scheduled offence. Again brings under its coverage under PMLA. And anything derived from commission of scheduled offence is called as proceeds of crime, which is liable for attachment under Section 5. And that is why they were attached. So why I am bringing this picture before you is that we cannot even imagine that this kind of coverage will be there with ED. Even environmental laws, where you will think it has nothing to do with money, because money laundering law should have some involvement of money. If money is not there, why to talk about anti-money laundering law? To launder, there should be money first. But hold on, money is there in all walks of life. Even if it is not there, ED can bring it in. This case study, this distillery unit was set up in Rajasthan, happily working, but suddenly its water treatment plant stops functioning. Happens. Pollution Control Board comes into action, files an FIR before the competent court, a report. Thereafter it does not proceed further. But water treatment plant is repaired thereafter also. So it appears as if everything is all right now. But no, it was not, because ED comes into picture now. And Enforcement Directorate sends notice for attachment of the factory building, wherein 500 workers were working. So again, I was very surprised that water treatment plant, what it has got to do with money and then ED. Then I read the explanation in the order. Water treatment plant was not functioning, and license capacity was around 50,000 KL, but the water discharge into the river was much beyond that. It was around 75,000 KL. So unauthorized production was done, because beyond 50 KL is unauthorized production. Unauthorized production means unauthorized sales, illegal sales, and legal sales must have given rise to legal profit, and this legal profit must have been invested into factory building, and therefore factory building becomes property derived from proceeds of crime, and therefore we are going to attach it. See the connect from dot A to dot Z. I mean, how the travel is done beyond imagination. But only beyond imagination, but not beyond facts. Because facts are like it. The facts and the law, the factual position of law, we are not able to imagine, because we are not going through it. We have to understand it. The list of scheduled offences, if you go through, I think many of the doubts will be clear. Right here. So thankfully we got status quo order from the tribunal, the appellate tribunal of PMLA from Delhi. But even after that, I mean, prosecution complaint was filed against the directors of the company, and they had to run here and there for bail, etc. And whereas Pollution Control Board was not doing anything, they just filed the report and they are sitting silent. But this investigation agencies of enforcing PMLA was very much concerned and became worried about the money laundering, and they took actions within the framework of law. Now this pictorial presentation is there to just give an idea of how these laws are connected with each other. And Benami law I have kept in the central pivot. I will give the reason why I have done so. In the Companies Act PMLA, SEBI regulations, Income Tax Act, everything are working in sync. Just to give an example how they are working, I just take this example from this slide which is there before you. One person did smuggling, but in the income tax return he shows income from trading of the goods. Say 10 crore rupees he earned, his name was Mr. R. 10 crore rupees he earned, he paid tax on rupees 10 crores. Files his income tax return. So what are the laws which have been violated? Whether Income Tax Act violated? No, because he has paid full taxes. Whether there is any Benami law? No. Whether there is violation of custom? Yes, there can be. Whether there will be violation under PMLA? Now his claim would be, I am not laundering the money, I am portraying the money as it is. On this topic, I and the Khimka sir were having debate today while in the car while coming here. So my understanding was if there has to be laundering of the money, projection of the money as untainted, whereas he himself is showing it as tainted. But Khimka sir's view was that he generated money from illegal crime, illegal source. So that itself becomes money laundering. And these debates are going on in the country because of some tinkering which has been done in the explanation added to section 3 of PMLA. And Honorable Justice Sanjeev Khanna has recently passed an order in the case of Manish Sisodia, wherein also these issues have been touched upon to some extent, that whether generation itself will be enough to say that possession is there of the money or not. But I am one step ahead, whether the possession itself will be enough to say that money laundering has taken place or not. So my humble understanding, and which I am maintaining since the beginning, that the word is money laundering. So mere possession of money is not enough. There should be money and then it should be laundered. Only then there will be money laundering. Having money is, it could be a different crime, and you punish him for the different crime which he has committed. Unless he adds the thing laundering to it, it can't be presumed. There has to be some direct, indirect, in whatever manner. The line may be a thin line of difference, but there does exist a line, and we cannot blur that line. But debate is going on, and hold on for the final analysis from the judiciary or some amendment to be made within the law. But anyways, now if I change the facts a little bit, if I say the gentleman now presents the things in a different manner, in his income tax return he says income from trading. Instead of saying income from smuggling, he says income from trading. And instead of rupees 10 crores, he only discloses 4 crores as income from trading, and on 6 crores he does not pay tax, on 4 crores he pays tax. Now on this 6 crores, what he does, out of these 6 crores, he gives rupees 2 crores to his company, namely to another company, namely B Limited. B Limited in turn give check by way of share capital to his Mr. R's company, R Limited. R Limited in return issues share capital to B Limited. So B Limited is holding shares which are actually being held on behalf of Mr. R. Now let us see what are the violations which have taken place. The balance amount, whatever was left of 4 crores, he sends abroad to be stashed in his bank account somewhere in British Virgin Islands, and which are not disclosed in the income tax return here in India. Right? So in this example, there are actions and there are sub-actions, there are sub-components, so larger action and smaller actions. So let us see what are the violations under different laws. First of all, income tax. Yes, whole transaction is one, but see how much laws are effective. Income tax, yes, because he has done tax evasion straight away. Custom, of course, yes. PMLA, yes, it is a clear case of money laundering. Why? Because he is portraying the bad money as good money, because he is in his income tax return, he is declaring it as income from trading. So he is showing something illegitimate as legitimate. One step more, Benami. Any violation of Benami? B Limited is holding shares in Benami capacity. So, R is a real beneficiary owner. B Limited is holding the shares in its name. Control is of Mr. R. certificates held are Benami. So the consequences are shares can be attached apart from other things. Under money laundering law, of course, whatever proceeds of crime there, the whole of it can be attached apart from prosecution, etc., etc., etc. So whole transaction and how many laws interwoven together. Now I have kept the Benami law in the central pivot because the finding of the investigation agencies is that most common ingredient found in violation of laws related to economic offences is that transactions done are Benami. It is because of the reason that any person who is doing something wrong would like to disguise, conceal his transaction. So concealment of the transaction, disguising it, masking it, hiding it will be a natural phenomena there. So if wrongs have happened, violation of Benami most likely would have happened. I think we have done one session on Benami, only Chandrakant Kaleji is here 2 years back when there was Corona period going on and we wanted to do it physical, but Kale Saab organized it online on webinar. So before I come to anti-money laundering law, what according to you is concept of Benami in nutshell on a very, very broad parameter, on a universal scale? If you ask me to explain it in a very, very generic sense to help you understand what Benami is in fact, will be clear from this slide that at any given point of time, there should be one person in the picture. And if there comes two persons, then it becomes, the transaction becomes Benami or the property becomes Benami. For example, Mr. B was holding a property, a residential house. So one person in the picture, Mr. B. Now Mr. A wanted to buy this house. So after the transaction is completed, Mr. A will remain in the picture and B will be out. But A wanted not to get the house registered in his name for whatever reason that we will discuss. So therefore he makes payment to B, requests B to register in the name of C, and also makes a tacit arrangement with C. Mr. A makes arrangement with C that you keep the property with you in your name. Whenever I would like, I will use it. I or my any family member or my any nominee whom I will inform to you. B accordingly follows the instructions, gets payment from A, does the conveyance deed in the name of Mr. C. C holds and maintains the property accordingly. Now, how many persons are there in the picture after the transaction is completed? A and C. Instead of there being A only, now two persons come. So A becomes the real owner and C becomes the ostensible owner. So Mr. C is having the property but not enjoying the property. Mr. A is enjoying the property but not having the property registered in his name. So ownership is divided into two parts. So duality here comes. In a human being's life, he starts feeling the problem only when duality comes in his life. When he feels or he disconnects himself from that supreme element, the supreme power. The moment it happens, duality comes in. And when the duality comes in, then the problem was there already also, but feeling of the problem starts. Without duality coming in, problem will come, problem will go. Will not be there anymore. Same. Bring in the duality, divide the ownership into two parts. Similarly, if I divide the ownership into two parts, that's the problem. So here also, many more things will pick up like that. So this is the most classic way of doing Benami transaction, which is recognized in part A, because there are 4 parts to the Benami transactions. These are the 4 parts on the display in the slide. So property is transferred or held by benamidar and consideration paid by the beneficial owner and property held for the benefit of beneficial owner. And would you like to know how many exceptions are there? Are there any exceptions to it? Such a sweeping law, but there are hardly few exceptions which are mentioned on the bottom. And that too coupled with the condition that consideration should be paid out of known sources. So, person acting in fiduciary capacity, karta, spouse or child, own spouse, right? Not anybody else spouse. Brother, sister, linear descendant and descendant. Because this question was asked from me. Mr. Taneja, you are right, but please tell us whose spouse. Then I said this slide has been made interesting for you, but in the law it is clearly mentioned own spouse. Because you know, different kind of persons are having different kind of tensions when we talk about Benami law. So, and therefore different kind of questions will come from the audience. So that is how the question was asked from the audience. Okay, tell us. Then immediately this question was over, immediately another question was shot. Okay, then child means what? Not all that what you are thinking. Child is child up to what age? Child up to what age? According to my understanding, child remains a child for a parent. So of any age. If in the name of children it has been done, it will not be Benami. But only thing is it should be out of known sources. Then last but not the least is brother, sister, lineal descendant or ascendant. So if you buy property in the name of your brother or your sister out of love and affection, or your mother or your father, it will be Benami or not? It will be Benami. Because another condition is also added, joint ownership only is allowed, exempted. So you buy along with your brother, or along with your sister, or along with your father, or along with your mother, or along with your grandchildren, or along with your great-grandfather, etc. Then only exempted. You should be there. Sorry, other parts are there, B, C and D. Property having fictitious name, they say it is straight away Benami. Law is clear. Owner is not aware of the ownership. Ostensible owner, registered owner says, okay, do I own the property? Oh, sorry, I don't know. Or denies. Government says, okay, it is then ours. If it is not yours, then ours. Clearly. No litigation possible, no ifs and buts, no explanation, no justification, no reasoning is required. Straight away, two-line order is sufficient, it is Benami. Then when the pair of the consideration is not traceable or is fictitious. Now this, very innocuously looking definition, part D, is in fact very, very dangerous and has been greatly misused by the Income Tax Department. Because all cases which were to be covered under Section 68 could not be covered 68 or 69 have been covered here under D, whether rightly or wrongly, mixed together. Authorities I am skipping, by now you must have come to know. Initiating officer is a person who is an enforcing officer. DPU, Benami Provision Unit, has been carved out from the Income Tax Department and enforcing the law. Though it appears that after judgment of Ganpati Deelcom, Benami law is over and dead. No, it is not so. Because number one, many new crises are happening. Sir.
Sir, in case of a loan, here property is mentioned. Suppose A wants a loan, he takes, he is not eligible, he taken in the name of B from the bank. So whether it will be.
Sir, first of all, the definition of property here given here is wildest and widest possible definition. If you want to see the definition of the word property, no need to consult dictionary. Consult Benami law and see the definition of the word property. It says any property, movable, immovable, in any manner, at every given point of time, on any asset, if the control is of somebody else, it is registered in the name of somebody else, Benami comes into picture. The only thing is, how the property is held will be dependent upon the nature of the property, whether it is movable or immovable. Because in the immovable, it can be treated to be held only when it is registered. But there could be circumstances where properties are not registered. Shares are registered, bank account is registered, but say cash or say jewelry. So how would you determine how it is held? That will make a difference in approach and understanding. For example, if I am holding cash, if I say I am having it on behalf of my learned colleague, my partner, Mr. Khemka. So I am not claiming to be the owner. It cannot be said to be Benami. Right? So I have to own it first. If I say I am the owner, but later it is found, no, it is of Mr. Khemka and you are holding it, then it can be treated as Benami. So the manner and approach must change with respect to the nature of the property. But definition of property is quite wide. One can't say the loan will not be covered or the cash will not be covered, etc. We have kept one full question answer session where you can have the benefit of double engine, that is myself and Khemka ji together while answering question answer. But still, if you can't hold, please raise. But it must reach me. Your question must reach me. That is what you have to ensure without mic.
Hello. Hello.
For non-filing of return. So you want to say, if I do not disclose the transaction income tax return, will it make it Benami? That is the question.
I am not filing return on income tax.
But I have purchased the property in my name.
Yes.
It is not Benami.
No.
But only violation I have done is that I have not filed the return.
Absolutely.
Okay. So your question is whether evasion of tax will lead to Benami? No. Of course no. They have got nothing to do. But vice versa is not true. This question has not been asked by anybody till date. Reverse question is asked from me. That is very important. If I have paid the tax, purchased the property Benami, can it still be held as Benami? Say I earn 100 crore rupees, out of that I paid tax of 30 crore rupees and odd amount, including surcharge and everything. Balance amount of 65 crore, I buy a property in the name of my friend and declare it so that I have purchased the property out of the tax paid money of 65 crores. Can it be treated as Benami? This will be, I think, will be the most prevalent question. Whether payment of tax will save me, protect me, mask me from the Benami law. Am I right? This can be the question. Answer is big no. Payment of tax and Benami has got nothing to do. Do you know what is common between income tax law and Benami law? Law. What is common? Law. Nothing is common. Only one thing is there, that the officers are from the income tax rank who are chosen to enforce this law. That's all. The fabric is different, the game of burden is different, scope and operation is different, but fortunately, unfortunately, it is being enforced with the same zeal, enthusiasm, pattern, understanding by the learned officers of income tax department, as if they are enforcing income tax law. And that is why their office, most of the orders you will found are devoid of legal sanctity, passed under the Benami law, are devoid of legal sanctity, because despite the government telling them that this is Benami law, wake up, not income tax law, but still the orders are being passed. You explain it is not Benami, because the way they ask, you explain it is not your income or it is not taxable. No, it is Benami law, it does not happen like that. You explain it is not Benami. You have to tell how it is Benami. You as an officer and enforcement agency has to prove the two conditions which I read in part A. And happening of the two conditions is essential, mandatory. So many questions are coming to my mind under Benami. I will take up some of them only because today's topic is not Benami. It is little bit of everything and then having a holistic understanding. So most of the questions are what properties are covered, all kinds of properties are covered. Tax paid, I have already explained. Any threshold limit, no threshold limit. Any past limit, no, they have made it a very, very timeless beauty. जो सोचा समय से क्या बांधना, पास की भी कोई लिमिट से नहीं बांधा. वो तो गणपति डील को में गणपति बाबा ने हमें बचाया कि साहब नहीं 2016 से पहले के ट्रांस को नहीं लेना है, लेकिन अब उसका भी तोड़ निकला है. उसका क्या तोड़ निकला कि अब ट्राइब्यूनल has started observing कि no, if the transaction is still continued, meaning thereby the property is still held by the same benamidar, then we will treat it as a continuing offence and we will try it under new law, 2016 law, because you are still holding the Benami property. And otherwise also Benami transactions are still happening. Day before yesterday, somebody sent me an order from somewhere MP in this sanctuary, wildlife sanctuary page, tiger reserve sanctuary. So they bought land, some few acres to build a resort, and bought land in the name of a tribal. And the gentleman tribal, when the statement was recorded, said, "Sir, ये साहब लोगों ने मुझे कहा था देने के लिए प्रॉपर्टी और मैंने इनके नाम से ले ली और उन्होंने भी यही बोला।" मैंने कहा ये क्या है? बोले सर हमें नहीं पता था कोई बेनामी लाओ की चीज है। मैंने कहा हमें प्रॉपर्टी चाहिए, अपने नाम से ले नहीं सकते, हमने ट्रैवल के नाम से ले ली, इसमें क्या गलत बात है? ट्रैवल का भी जीवन उद्धार हो गया। पता नहीं जीवन उद्धार हुआ है या जीवन हो गया। अब वो बेचारे वो ट्राइबल साहब गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर भी हैं, स्कूल में कहीं टीचर है। दिस इज द पोजीशन बिकॉज यू कैनॉट वर्क सिंपली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कॉमन सेंस। हाँ, कॉमन सेंस बेस पे काम करना है तो फिर कॉमन यूनिवर्सल सेंस पे काम करना है। कॉमन यूनिवर्सल सेंस होनी चाहिए कि आप कोई ऐसा काम करने जा रहे हैं कि जो है वैसा नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो नहीं करना चाहिए। कि भाई लैंड आपकी है, आप ट्राइबल को कह रहे हैं लेने के लिए, और ट्राइबल साहब को भी ये सोचना चाहिए कि मैं ऐसा काम क्यों कर रहा हूँ, मैं तो उसका प्राणी हूं तो अपने काम से करूंगा, मैं क्यों किसी का नाम कर रहा हूं। तो फिर कॉमन यूनिवर्सल सेंस से सोचो तो आप लॉ के करीब रहोगे, नहीं तो पहले कानून पढ़ो और फिर काम करो। Then last but not the least, बेनामी लॉ में जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है,
सर अगर लोन दे देगा उसको तो वो बेनामी रहेगी या नहीं रहेगी? जिससे एक्स पर्सन जिसके पास पैसा है,
सारे लोग मानेंगे कि ये लोन है, इस पे इंटरेस्ट की पेमेंट होनी है, ये लोन चुकाना है, तो नहीं होगा।
सर
आपने कह दिया लोन है, ट्रैवल साहब कहते नहीं सर कोई लोन वोन नहीं है, इन्होंने कोई पैसा
नहीं सर उसके अकाउंट में आएगा ना सर,
उसके अकाउंट में है, वो कहेगा साहब ये लोन वोन नहीं है, मेरे को कुछ भी पैसे देने, इन्होंने मेरे को कहा था।
तो ये कोई कानून में है कि अगर बाई चांस अगर लोन की भी प्रॉपर्टी अगर और जेन्युइन लोन भी हो तो क्या गवर्नमेंट उसको बेनामी मान सकती है? क्योंकि उसकी कैपेसिटी नहीं थी।
आपने वर्ड यूज किया बाई चांस, इज इट बाई चांस और आपने एक्चुअल लोन दिया है?
नहीं, मैं बाई चांस निकाल देता हूँ सर। कहीं बेनामी में नहीं फंसोगे, बाई चांस में रहोगे तो बेनामी में रहोगे। नहीं सर बाई चांस में भी वो लोन वापस नहीं दे रहा, मान के चलो सर 25 साल के बाद भी उसने लोन नहीं दिया और 25 साल बाद गवर्नमेंट ने पकड़ा कि तुमने तो, और
अब बर्डन आप पे शिफ्ट हो जाएगा कि 25 साल से आप ब्याज भी दे रहे हो। ट्राइबल साहब वहां एक दिन पे रिजॉर्ट में गए भी नहीं है, उनको नाम तक नहीं पता, उनको कुछ भी नहीं पता, चेकबुक भी आपके बैंक अकाउंट आपके ड्रॉर में मिली है सर्च में, बर्डन आपके ऊपर हो गया।
तो सर इससे निकलने का रास्ता क्या है?
कानून तो हमें पता है साहब, हमें जंगल से बाहर निकलने का रास्ता बताओ। पहले मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ, आपको पहचाना चाह रहा हूँ कि जंगल को पहचान लो, जंगल है क्या, तो रास्ता बना पाओगे। अभी तो आप जंगल को नहीं पहचाना चाह रहे, आंखें बंद करके चलना चाह रहे हो। एंड एक्चुअली बिलीव मी दिस इज हैपनिंग। अभी हम आंखें खोलना ही नहीं चाह रहे, हमें लग रहा है नहीं यार ये तो आंखें खोलेंगे तो हमसे जिया नहीं जाएगा इस देश में, हम अपनी आदत नहीं बदल सकते। दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम वी आर फेसिंग। लेकिन हमें पहचानना पड़ेगा। लॉ मतलब बहुत ही कमाल का कानून बनाया है।
इसमें एक और चीज है कि अगर ये पहले हो चुका है 2016 से हम लोग तो सीए हैं, करीब 20-25 साल से काम कर रहे हैं।
मैं रखने वाला था आपके सामने, मैं रखने वाला था, सुनिए मेरे को कि अगला क्वेश्चन जो आता है मोस्ट प्रूडेंट क्वेश्चन, पहले मैं पहले वाला कवर कर लूं। फ्यूचर टाइम लिमिट कोई नहीं है, नो टाइम लिमिट पास, वो मैंने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया गणपति डील को कैसे डील करने वाले हैं। फ्यूचर टाइम लिमिट कोई नहीं है, आज से 50 साल बाद भी इस ट्रांजेक्शन को ओपन कर सकते हैं। हो सकता है आपको जो प्रॉपर्टी मिली हो और आपके दादाजी छोड़ के गए हो, तो वो एक दिन बीपीओ के ऑफिसर आएंगे, कहेंगे ये दादाजी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं छोड़ के गए, लाइबिलिटी छोड़ के गए हैं, बेनामी है, लाइए दीजिए। ऐसा लॉ में प्रावधान है या ऐसी इसको ऐसे कहते थे कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है।
मेरा ये बोलना सर कि अगर लोन दिया है अब हम क्लोज कर सकते हैं।
अब अगले द क्वेश्चन इज वेदर एनी यूटर्न इज अलाउड। दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन। ये सारी गलती हो गई, मैं वापस कर रहा हूं। बोलते नो यूटर्न, द पाथ यू चोज इज द पाथ टुवर्ड्स हेल। एक बार तो वहां पहुंचिए, फिर देखेंगे आपका क्या करना है। दैट इज द लॉ। I mean, how can I say something which is not true to you? Section 6(1) clearly says transfer of any Benami property is void. What does it mean? Even if you make retransfer of the property, that is treated as void. वहीं खड़े रहे आप स्क्वायर वन पर, सांप नीचे ऊपर पहुंचे, फिर सांप ने काटा वापस वन पे। So क्या करेंगे आप? सिर्फ ये करेंगे प्रभु, अब तो जो आपने करना है आप नमो नमो ये सरेंडर का ही समय है, सरेंडर कर दीजिए बस और आगे का अपना जीवन सुधार लीजिए। ऐसा लॉ इज कंसर्न। आप कोई ये पेज बढ़ा के वो पेज बढ़ा के पेज के जंगल से निकल लोगे, अलग बात है। लॉ की बात करोगे, इस फोरम पे हम लॉ की बात करेंगे, किसी पेज की बात नहीं करेंगे, तो नहीं है पॉसिबल। लॉ डज नॉट गिव एनी स्कोप। Here I little bit disagree with the approach of the legislature, with due respect. Because something which was prevalent since hundreds of years, it can be done unknowingly, it can be done as a customary practice because of social reasons. So there should be some leeway to make a U-turn or to mend my ways. This is a mark of any civilized economy. At any given point of time, if I want to improve upon, I should be given a chance. And holding a Benami property is not as hardcore crime. I mean, even person like Kasab was given the trial, proper trial. So therefore, here some amendment should come. But okay, you want to change? Okay, these are the parameters you change. Pay taxes, retransfer, pay capital gain, declare it properly. That's it. But you know, whenever I have given this suggestion, I have also received a counter from the other side. In fact, there was a window open in Finance Act 2016. Window was opened that if there is any Benami transaction, you do these things, 2-3 steps, that you pay taxes and all that, then prosecution will not happen. Taxes you are paying, prosecution will not happen. So meaning there was, this was a window. Window was very short period. और उसको हमें लगता Benami लोग क्या लो है, कोई nothing, कोई Benami लो कुछ नहीं. तो हमने देखा ही नहीं, किसी ने बताया ही नहीं, किसी ने पढ़ाया ही नहीं, पढ़ा भी नहीं सकते हम तो. I mean, we were all under shock after demonetization. What has this happened? So इसलिए वो निकल गए window. That window should come again. So by Ganpati, window has come, but again for new transaction. I mean, now they are saying, why are you doing now? People are still doing. So what to do? There are many reasons, or justified reasons also. One case from Bombay, Pune only, in which 2,000 acres were attached. You know what was the case? The case was simply a builder, a very big colonizer, wanted to create a huge land bank. So it created 20 companies, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 20 companies, and gave them assignment of acquiring 200 acres each. And they started acquiring. Somehow, such took place by the Income Tax Department upon these companies, and their directors were, of course, appointed by the chairman of the big company. So they said, साहब हम नहीं कुछ जानते, वो चेयरमैन साहब हैं, वो हम तो उनके कहने पे काम करते हैं और बस हम यही है लैंड वैंड लेना ये सब blah blah blah. So everything was assigned to chairman साहब, that we are following his instructions and all that. That all the companies were treated as Benami company of that infrastructure company. All directors were treated as nominee directors or dummy directors of that chairman. The land so acquired by them were treated as Benami land of that infrastructure company. Were treated as Benami property attached. These companies as Benamidar companies, and that infrastructure company as beneficial owner company, 2,000 acres attached. Now, in a way it is wrong for them to do that like that, but in a way it is also commercially justified to do that. Because you cannot buy land of this magnitude in your own name. You have to do some masking. Otherwise you just can't buy. A person who is selling the land for say 10 lakh rupees acre, he will start demanding 2 crore rupees acre. Two things is required, which are for just commercially justified. But the law is what it is today. There is no adequate protection to the bona fide purchasers also. Under section 27, this case also belongs to Pune incidentally. One of the first orders, it was first order from the tribunal which we got in 2019, immediately before Corona, from Honorable Justice Manmohan. Pune's company, I will not be able to name, but now it is published also. That company was the bona fide purchaser of the land. So we somehow discharge our burden under section 27, fortunately, but it is very difficult. Therefore, why I presenting this slide to you is, therefore, while guiding your client about any buying transaction, you have to be doubly careful lest he is buying a Benami property. It's very essential. And there are parameters to find out how you can detect whether it is a Benami property or not. This my slide contains all the requisite you can go through. Then there are other connects also between income tax and other. For example, under GAR, if GAR is invoked, General Anti-Avoidance Rule, on Mauritian-based company, on the ground that it is ultimate control is in US company, so shares held by Mauritian company into Indian company are ultimately controlled by US company. The shares held in Indian company by the Mauritian company can be treated as Benami, Mauritian company as Benamidar, US company as beneficial owner, shares can be attached. Prosecution may not be possible because of their not being located in India, but their property can be attached. Burden of proof under Benami is upon the person who is alleging. But burden will be shifted in the circumstances which you gave. So 25 years, no loan being repaid, everything is found in the control of the beneficial owner, then there will be problem. Yes. Some NRIs are very enthusiastic, very keen to buy land in India, particularly agricultural land. Somehow they are, वो जागृत हो गई है एग्रीकल्चर के प्रति उनका प्यार, वो कहते हैं हमें एग्रीकल्चर बनना है इंडिया में, हमारी मिट्टी, हमारे वतन की मिट्टी हमें याद आ रही है, तो उसको कॉम्पेंसेट करना चाहते हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट करके इन एग्रीकल्चर लैंड, तो दे कैन नॉट, सो दे टेक हेल्प ऑफ देयर ओन पुराना दोस्त जिसके साथ इमोशनल यादें जुड़ी हों कि भाई मेरे लिए तू एक लैंड लेगा, मैं तेरे को पैसे भेजूंगा। ऐसा हुआ गुजरात में और वो लैंड भी अटैच हो गई और वो जो एनआरआई साहब है वो तो इंडिया ही नहीं आ रहे हैं डर से, और जो इंडियन फ्रेंड है उनका प्रोसिक्यूशन हो गया है। सिर्फ उन्होंने इतना कहते थे इनकम टैक्स वाले सर मेरे को नहीं पता कि वो जाम्बिया में मेरे दोस्त रहते उन्होंने पैसे भेजे थे और मैंने लैंड ले ली साहब, मैंने कोई ओन मनी नहीं दिया, मैंने कुछ नहीं दिया, मुझे तो कुछ नहीं पता। इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट इनकम टैक्स में तो कुछ हुआ नहीं, लेकिन पीपीयू को चला गया मतलब, तो पीपीयू ने कुछ नहीं किया, एक ऑर्डर भेज दिया सेक्शन 24(3) का, उससे दिस लैंड इज अटैच्ड एज Benami, relying upon the statement of Indian friend. Welcome to the world of Benami. एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग लॉ, तो सर इसमें किसको गलत मानेंगे? यहाँ का लेजिस्लेशन ठीक है या नहीं है, जो मैंने भी एग्जांपल दिया, ये होना चाहिए नहीं होना चाहिए? FEMA prohibits doing this, right? So the person who are doing this are in fact indirectly doing which is directly prohibited under FEMA. So even if they were interested, again your example could have been quoted, he could have lent money to Indian friend. At the best, he could have talked about sharing of returns, could have followed, or could have sought some kind of approvals as are possible. Anti-money laundering. Sorry, first of all, what is money laundering? Anybody would like to give any guess? What is money laundering? Think about it. Anybody? Because this participation can be made more useful when it is team participation.
Converting illegitimate money into legitimate.
Okay. Any other? Legitimate money को illegitimate बनाना. Why would somebody do that? खैर ऐसा लॉ में सोचा नहीं कि ऐसा क्या होगा, कोई लेजिटिमेट कर देगा तो क्या होगा, कि मेरे पास अच्छा खासा पैसा है, क्लीन मनी earned for my consultancy and I make it as stolen money, something like that. Why would I do that?
जिसमें कोई फ्लैट परचेज करना है, ठीक है, पूरा एक नंबर पैसा है, I have to use some black money to them, तो लेजिटिमेट को लेजिटिमेट
नहीं, आपको फ्लैट परचेज करना है तो आपने तो ब्लैक मनी जो पे किया उसको, वो तो नहीं, हाँ, तो वो तो आपने जो मनी ली होगी, वो उसका सोर्स देखा जाएगा, उसका सोर्स क्या है? आपका पैसा है, आपका खुद का पैसा है, तो वो तो कोई क्लीन ही है, आपने उसको दिया ही, आपने तो कोई अनक्लीन नहीं किया। उसके हैंड में क्या होगा वो देखा जाएगा। और एनी अदर एफर्ट, ओके वेदर, हाँ यस प्लीज।
Sir, converting your money which is earned from various sources or from very unethical ways and diverting it into the ethical form.
Okay. So, conversion of black into white, is it money laundering? Yes, anybody on that? Converting black into white? Look, conversion of black into white is akin to tax evasion. So for money laundering, something more has to be added to it. So if we want to understand it with the help of colors, then it will be like converting of red into white. And red denotes blood, which in turn denotes crime. And white denotes no crime, innocence, purity. So conversion of something related to crime as not related to crime is money laundering. We will read the proper definition, etc. So, who are the proper authorities? What is the punishment? What are the consequences if provisions of criminal are invoked? What are the broad powers? What are the legal remedies available? What are the precautions to be taken to avoid entering into money laundering laws? What is the effect and impact of attachment of property by the enforcement directorate? Status of bona fide purchaser, very, very important question under money laundering law. Very, very important. Statements made by third party about accommodation entry transaction, whether it can, to what extent it is binding upon the other parties, can it lead to attachment of the properties, and whether the property gifted out of black money or benami or money laundered transaction is confiscated and recovered. You have received as a donee pure gift, but it was, say, laundered money which you got, or benami. What will be the transaction? What will be the status of donee under such circumstances? And his property which is gifted. And the last but not the least, this is the most prudent question arising in the country. Can defaults in bank loans obtained through fraud can be covered under money laundering or any other law? And other consequential properties acquired by that person from the loan, or the loan distributed to other persons and other persons acquiring property. What will happen? What will be the status of those kind of properties? First of all, money laundering. As we have rightly attempted, where any crime is done, money is generated and money is portrayed as good money. So illegitimate money being shown as good money. And formally it has been defined under section 3 as whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge or knowingly assists or knowingly is a party or is actually involved in any process or activity connected with the pursuits of crime, including its concealment, possession, acquisition or use and projecting or claiming as untainted property shall be guilty of offence of money laundering. So you kindly see the word "and" is there in that color in between. And is denotes that other conditions should also be fulfilled. The word "and" is there. Now since the word "and" is there, means they have to do conjunctive compliance with the condition. So it is not only generation of proceeds which is enough, it should be projected or claimed as untainted. So tainted should be projected or claimed as untainted. Then it makes it money laundering. So three processes are involved in this. First of all, commission of the scheduled offence, generation of proceeds of crime, and then commission of money laundering by placement, layering, integration in whatever possible manner. There are many techniques, etc. So all three stages put together only can describe it as process of money laundering. If any of the stage is missing, according to me, then it will not be money laundering. Though what is being now argued strongly from the prosecution side, from the ED side, is that stage 1 and 2 are enough. I will request Khipka Sahab also to give his views during his deliberations. That are they enough? And if yes, why? And if not, then also how? Because stage 1 and stage 2 makes an offence liable for punishment. Makes an offence liable for punishment. For that scheduled offence which has been committed. not for the offence of money laundering. Then pursuits of crime means any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly by any person as a result of criminal activity related to a scheduled offence or value of any such property, or where any such property is taken or held outside India, then the property equivalent in value held within the country or outside. So the burning issue which is arising in pursuits of crime here is that whether any property which is not derived from pursuits of crime can also be put in this situation and be made liable for attachment under section 5, because section 5 of the PMLA says that the properties derived from pursuits of crime can be attached till the investigation is pending under section 5(1) of PMLA for 180 days, and after 180 days it can be extended by the adjudicating authority for further period, and the orders passed by the adjudicating authority are liable to be appealed before by the appellate tribunal located in New Delhi and Market New Delhi. So the question remains, which we were discussing, say a person earns a sum of rupees 1 crore by stealing from somewhere, he gets rupees 1 crore. The stolen money he uses to buy gold of rupees 1 crore, equivalent amount, and then from this gold he goes to jeweler, sells it, and he receives check which he deposits in bank account. From this 1 crore he then buys into shares. Shares become of rupees 5 crores, and then he invests into plot of land. So then he buys plot of land of rupees say 12 crores. Remaining 7 crores he adds from another kitty which is clean money, and then 12 crore plot he is keeping. Now out of this, all of three, which are proceeds of crime and which can be made liable for attachment to begin with? Suppose ED comes in possession of this cash which he has stolen, which is proceeds of crime. Yes, of course, straight away. Then he converts into gold. Can it be? Yes, because again it is derived from proceeds of crime. The gold he sells to jeweler, receives check in the bank account is proceeds of crime. Yes. Then from the bank account he buys shares. Shares become, yes, shares can be attached because shares are exclusively purchased from this money only. Now shares become of 5 crores value. Can it be attached for the full value of 5 crores? Yes, because it is that 1 crore only which has grown into 5 crores. Now this 5 crore invests into plot of land which is of 12 crores, 7 crores he adds. Can that plot be attached? Yes, to the extent of 5 crores. Now this 12 crore he sells the plot and goes to casino and loses entire money out of this 12 crores. Right? Now ED comes into picture now. They does not found anything. This 1 crore starting from 1 crore becomes 12 crore lost. Nothing to attach. But he has one other plot of land which was gifted by his grandfather to him. He inherited from him. Another plot of land. Can that another plot of land be attached? Now this is the question. And this is the most prevalent question happening in the country. One of the most reasons that why everybody is having very, very agonizing experience with EDs, one of the reasons, there are 3 reasons, one of the reasons is this. That proceeds of crime is not properly defined, or even if it is defined properly, according to it is defined properly, it is not properly understood and implemented. There lies the whole difference. According to my understanding, unconnected property cannot be attached. If you read Seemagar, judgment of Punjab High Court, Satyam Computers, Kumar Pappu, etc., from Andhra Pradesh High Court. No. And scheme of the act is also like that. No. But they are attaching all such property. Scheduled offence, I am leaving it for Khemka ji.
Here also,
reverse burden of proof. Yes, sir.
Here also the another plot is not there. And
sir, I will request, let us hold the questions because Khemka ji is looking at me because I am eating his time now. So you want him to be angry with me? Yes, no, please hold the questions and we will answer all your questions. That is what I assure you. Before catching the flight, I will answer all the questions. What's your good name, sir?
Ratan Munda.
Sorry?
I will say Ratan Munda.
Ratan, thank you for asking the question. We'll answer all the questions. The reverse burden of proof, Khemka ji, this I am leaving for you because this is one of the most important questions in the entire PMLA thing. And that is another reason why experience with EDs has become so tough, that they have reversed the burden. That innocent has to prove that he is innocent and not guilty. This is another is a web of actions. Simultaneously, so many actions start. One of attachment, another of prosecution, schedule offense में भी कोई action चल रहा है. So kindly see from this presentation, how many actions start immediately. Main scheduled offense agency will be doing actions. ED will do the action. That too in different forums. Attachment का अलग forum है, उसका अलग trail चलेगा. Prosecution का अलग चलेगा. Then this slide I will share and then I can conclude my deliberations, because this is something where you will, if not so far, then you will definitely come across in your professional career being chartered accountant, because this case relates to financial nitty-gritties and financial, plain simple case of financial dissent. Large size corporate borrowers or any small become defaulters for whatever reasons. It may be due to collapse of business, maybe siphoning off, maybe misuse of loan, etc. All coupled with all the reasons. All put together. These are categorized as fraud accounts by the banker. And banker will file FIR with EOW or with CBI depending upon the ticket size. Pune mein bhi hai EOW. I am handling the notice from here. EOW, the moment matter comes in EOW, it becomes right for ED. ED also comes into the picture. So EOW or CBI will take years to find out and then reach to the bottom. ED will get at those speed, it will start attaching the property. What properties? Here comes the question. So this borrower took 1,000 crores. Now this 1,000 crore has been utilized. They are not like you dip an ant in the ink pot, take it out, leave it on the paper, wherever it will go. Say bunch of ants you have left on the paper after taking them out from the ink pot. There, the way they are creating a trail, like that the trail will be created of the financial disbursements of these 1,000 crore rupees. All such channels and streams will be liable for scrutiny and investigation by the ED and liable for attachment of all such properties, and in some cases where connivance is also proved, for prosecution also. And you know, this is the case where the criminal lawyers find themselves absolutely unable to explain the case because the financial jargon and nitty-gritties are too much involved. Here comes the role of the chartered accountants in joining hands with criminal lawyers on the criminal side. Criminal lawyers understand the things and can explain to the judge, and judge can handle the matter better. Because the judges are also, sometimes not from the finance background. So it becomes difficult for them to pass the appropriate bail orders and also orders for releasing the properties because of lack of understanding, lack of facts and figures. And PML is a law where without proper facts and figures, explanations cannot be done. The law cannot be understood, cannot be enforced, cannot be applied, cannot be judiciously dispensed with. So I have listed out few steps that how you can play your role as a chartered accountant. Finding out the sources and quantifying amount of proceeds of crime, identifying the properties to be attached, identifying the sources of such properties and connecting it with the POC, identifying the loan utilization in attached property, calculation of correct value of POC, valuation of property attached and comparison with the alleged POC, proper financial accounting and analysis, and preparation of money trail for the attached properties to demonstrate the sources of funds, etc. In PMLA, there would be many questions, and we will definitely answer together. With regard to Black Money Act, I will say only 2 lines. That Black Money Act comes into picture only when there is some foreign income which is required to be reported in India, not being reported here, or any foreign asset located outside India which is not being disclosed here. So kindly remain away from these 2 things. So long as these disclosures are done properly, you will be taking it very casually sometimes. Non-disclosure, these are happening. Students going abroad. I know one student, she went to do LLM, comes back to India, forgets to close her bank account. Due to some complaint, her case is roped in, and black money notices are issued. Because account is there, you are not closed, and liable for action under BMA. Penalty of rupees 10 lakhs plus amount lying in the bank account liable for 10 lakhs. So she started her career with her own case guarantee. That is what I told her, then she was happy. Yes sir, it is a good training background. Solid background. And these things are happening day in, day out. So therefore these laws are framed like that on the basis of common sense we cannot work. we have, but the moment we become resident, we have to make disclosure, because disclosure norms become applicable. So those persons who are coming back from abroad, very essential to know. So I think that's all, but before I conclude, that is what I was telling you, that by you conclude, the moment you conclude the session, you come to know that how strongly they are connected with the universal principles. So that is what the government is saying now through these laws. That earlier the responsibility upon me was only, I think you must have come across that reporting entity responsibility is also upon chartered accountants. Yes. That has to be also understood properly. We can keep one separate session on that. So earlier the responsibility upon me was that I have to do the things rightly. Now additional responsibility is also added. A, the first responsibility remains that I have to do the things rightly. B, I have to keep with me, maintain with me requisite cogent material and evidences to demonstrate that whatever I have done is right and as per law. Now this is the additional responsibility upon all of us as citizens and upon the professionals, and therefore you have to guide your clients also as this is the additional responsibility. Mere doing the first thing is not enough. And with regard to Benami law, as you rightly understood, that whatever is yours, only believe that to be yours. Whatever is not yours, do not believe it to be yours, do not tell others that it is yours. Whatever you are from inside, that you should look, so outside the same. Get rid of Benami life, live real life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CA Advocate Ashwini Taneja ji. That was a very informative session. I now request Advocate Amit Khemka ji for the second technical session to please come on the stage.